Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. In this episode called The Muse, there are a number of things that can be said for it, not much for the story, unfortunately. What we have here is the last appearance of Majel Barrett on screen in any Star Trek property. This was her last appearance as Lwaxana Troi, and unfortunately, it had to go out on a fairly weak story. It's something Majel Barrett had pitched directly to the producers of Deep Space Nine, and it was going to be a whole lot more complicated. They were going to make it into couples where there was Jake and the Muse, and there was going to be Cassidy Yates and the captain, and there was going to be Miles and his wife, and there was going to be, of course, Odo and Lwaxana. They couldn't make it work. It didn't seem to work quite right, and they ended up switching around the A and B stories, in which the main story was a space vampire, in which Jake is able to write thanks to this muse who, while giving the inspiration to write the great American novel or whatever, she's also sucking his brain out. And so it's fairly straightforward of how they get rid of her. They just find the double talk energy that she is and track it down and rescue Jake before she finally kills him. And he doesn't finish the novel, but it is probably something that he becomes famous for later. A couple of standouts in this is Michael Ansara. It's the first time he's not played a Klingon in Star Trek. He plays the what we'll call ex-husband of Lwaxana, and also of Meg Foster, who plays the Muse, who is unrecognizable except for her eyes, which are very expressive. And even the producers said that was probably the only redeeming part of the entire show was her performance in it. We'll give honorable mention also to Renee Auberjonois, who did a great job here and a great range beyond what Odo is usually capable of. The rest of it was kind of a jumbled story that looked like it was rewritten too many times until it really didn't have any terrible meaning to it. It was overly simplistic, and it's one of these kind of things where, Odo and Lwaxana gets married, but that's not going to last. Lwaxana is going to have her baby on the station. That's not going to happen. Jake and this muse are going to have a good time together, and then she's going to move on. No. It always has to have something that trips it up, because you have to reset everything, even in a story arc structure like Deep Space Nine has. So what you have here is a dead-end script, and the producers knew it. They said in later interviews that it was probably the weakest script that they'd ever written for Deep Space Nine, although the performances were wonderful. That was the only thing really that saved it. So with that, that is The Muse. That is, episode 21 of Season 4. We don't have many left in this season of Deep Space Nine. We are tracking other things that are happening in the Trekverse and the Whoniverse. Doctor Who has released the titles of all of their shows that will be. They have 10 shows that will be done this season, and the last one is of interest in that it hints that there is a multiverse being introduced into the Doctor Who universe, so that's kind of interesting. We won't know anything about that until much later, but we'll be following that. And that's what we have for now. Hope you'll join us once again on Tuesday for another Babylon 5 review and bulletins as they occur. Until then, don't go far.